Good morning, everybody. Can we see everyone here? I think people have come in, started their laptops, and everyone's around doing all the things that there are to complete. We just wrapped up an amazing session of the live release session that was actually there. That was from Fear to Strength. So we just had that session that we wrapped up about like half an hour, 40 minutes ago. And now we're on to this session, and I urge more of you all to actually be there and be on time. For those that are going to hear it later, I know that there's tons of you that hear this video later or that join as our chat progresses, but we make it a point to be here at this time to connect with each one of you, to speak about all the different things that there's so many things related to our emotions, related to healing, that we could all benefit from knowing. So the more of you that show up here on time, the better it is, and the more engaging it is for us to come back and come with lots of different things that we can actually bring to the table and just educate you all about or empower you all about and make this journey together. So we've been on this journey of understanding our emotions a lot better. And we've spoken about the various aspects of it. And today, what we're going to speak about is actually a really different and interesting concept. And that is the one of the emotion wheel that is there. So, in today's session, we're going to be speaking about the emotion wheel. That's going to be say, I would say, like most of our session. But we're also going to take the time today to just clear any doubts that people have had about the guilt to growth module as well, because a lot of people have wanted to understand better. And last week we had so much to discuss about guilt and about the space that guilt holds in our system that we didn't get a chance to actually take that conversation forward and clear up any doubts or explain to you what the module is about. So we're going to be doing both those things today. I'm going to be drawing up a quick picture for everyone. So we've spoken about different emotions. Now we're going to be showing you what an emotion wheel looks like. And that emotion wheel is going to give us a lot of clarity. Just one second. Okay. So can everyone see this image of the emotion wheel that's there? Yes? So now this emotion wheel, I know it looks like a lot of things are going on here, but we're going to demystify that just a little bit. So they say we all have our primary emotions that are there, and then as we're going ahead, it's almost like the primary colors that are there. You have just three primary colors that are there: red, blue, and yellow. And with those three primary colors, you realize, right, that we can make so many different shades. We can make so many different shades, so many different colors with it. When we're teaching kids also colors, we teach them the basic colors, and then we teach them that, okay, I'm going to just pause this for a bit. We teach them the basic colors, and we teach them, oh, if you're going to mix up red and blue, you can get purple. And if you're going to put a little bit of white in it, you're going to mix red and white, you can get pink. And you teach them all the various colors that can originate out of very few base colors. Similar to that, we all have a few base emotions that we have, which are given to us as tools to actually help us navigate through life. These base emotions are something that we have throughout of our life, and no matter what we're going to do, if we say, oh, I want to live without fear, I never want to get angry again, I never want to be scared again, those are not an option because these are base emotions. And now, as I said, we just did a beautiful session before this, and that whole module is about moving from fear to strength. So we discussed actually to a great extent also how important and the role that fear plays, why that fear is necessary and why it is required to our well-being, why is it required for us to be able to experience that emotion. And if you will understand, like we're going to demystify each of these emotions. If any of you have seen the movie Inside Out, I think I've mentioned it multiple times. It's an animated movie. It is a movie about emotions. It's a brilliantly made movie. I think honestly, anything that is made for kids simplifies something so well. The reason we always draw back to examples of when we're kids, of how toddlers operate, how kids operate, is because That is one of the simplest versions there is of life. I do believe that everything that we're given in life is something that we're given for a reason, and we've come in, and specifically the way nature works, the way, nature is designed, is something that is extremely well thought of. One of those nature patterns that we speak about is interdependence. So many times we see people's main struggle in life is, oh, I want to be independent. I want to be able to do it all. I want to be, doing everything by myself. I don't need to ask for help. And then you have the whole dependent side, right? Where you're like, oh, but I need to always ask for help. I need to always do that. There's some people who find comfort in being dependent. There are a lot of people that struggle with it. But the true nature of life is meant to be interdependent. Nature was designed that way. So if you see, even for you to simply survive, to simply go about your regular life, you need to breathe in oxygen. Oxygen that you're going to get from the plants, and carbon dioxide that you're going to give it the plants back. So anytime that you're really confused in life, if you will go back to nature and its basics of how it's designed, what happens, you would get all your answers there. Similarly, all your answers lie in the base emotions that are given to us as well. That movie Inside Out explains them in a very simplified and a very beautiful manner. They actually start the story with how there's happiness, and happiness feels like the prevalent emotion, the emotion all of us want to aspire to, all of us want to get to. We always want to stay happy. We hear, oh, like, I mean, you see people that actually have a happy facade that they're faking no matter what their situation is. You hear of so many suicide cases, and so many times you wonder, oh my God, this person looked so happy. I wonder what went wrong. Okay, why do we take the TTCs to really just explore a certain given thought in a very free manner? Is because y'all are all here to listen, and we're just here to sort of, as a group, collectively understand that topic. And you would see that when you see that, it's because so many of us feel the pressure to be happy. I have to be happy. What is there to be sad? Right from a very base level, right from the time that we're kids, oh, stop crying. There's nothing to be sad about. Nothing has happened. What are you scared of? Why are you doing this? So, at the time that we're meant to understand what our emotions are and understand that no emotion is good, no emotion is bad, we begin that conditioning. And this is something of awareness that all of us should bring point, because even if you've been through that, the awareness of it now can help you shift. And the awareness of it helps us to shift that pattern as we're growing ahead with the generations that we face, whether it's your kids, your kids' kids, whether it's, kids that you're interacting with generally. Before we dismiss someone's emotions, if we just take a step back and go to what are they really feeling, I don't need to necessarily validate an emotion. I'll tell them, yeah, it's right. Somebody might just be getting angry, having a tantrum, throwing a fit. And it might be for something that is really unnecessary. So are we saying validate that and tell them, yeah, yeah, it's okay, throw a tantrum, you're doing good? Or someone's just crying to, draw attention. It's not necessarily about validating another person's emotions or validating our emotions, as much as it is about simply acknowledging them. Most times our biggest fear is that if I, allow this behavior to continue, I am validating that emotion. And that emotion, that tantrum, that habit of drawing attention, that crying, that, rage fit that they had, that is going to continue if I do that. So I will only validate the emotions I think are valid. I will only validate the emotions, for example, happiness, love, the ones that, we know that they're in the good books, right? And that comes from a fear that this is going to grow. But what if I told you it's not about validating that emotion? It's only about acknowledging. Now, when you will understand the difference between the two, there's a big difference that comes in our approach. So I'll have like every morning practically. Now, my office is very close to where my younger kids' school. So generally, when I'm coming in, I will drop him and I will come to office. So which of course leads to a big like my look at every single time. Why won't you take me to school? You need to take me to school. I'm very sad. I'm not going to let you go. This, that. We have a full range of emotions that happen in the morning. And of course, I do my best to explain and go like, listen, for you, I came and dropped you to school for a year. My, work is close to this. I have an appointment. I have a session. I will be back in the evening. But sometimes they don't want to hear any of it. Like just today morning, he's like, but you're making me very sad. Okay, so I mean, all in that moment is like, I understand you're very sad, but this is something I have to do. This is something I have already promised. Do you like it if I break promises I make to you? And he's like, no. So I'm like, okay, so then this is a promise I've made to other people that I'm going to show up. And when I can promise you something and when I can say no, I will. But today I need to go. So, and just that act of doing that consistently. I didn't say it's right you're crying, it's wrong you're crying. Because have you all noticed most of our emotions also we seek validation? You might have had a big fight with someone, right? And you're like, I don't want to see you. I don't even want to do this. I'm crying. But have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're secretly hoping they'll come and check on you? Or you've had this fit of crying and you've just calmed down, right? And then you hear footsteps of the person coming near that room. And you see how you like do whatever you can to get that one last sniffle out because you're like, half an hour I was doing this. Now they'll come and say, I'm just normal. Like, yeah, but I was sad. No matter what, somewhere like it's like, oh, you didn't even do this. We're looking for that validation of, okay, like I understand you're sad. When we've come from a cycle of constantly waiting for our emotions to be validated, we aren't even sure of what we're feeling. How many times have you been asked, oh, how are you feeling? And you give a auto response that is there. I'm okay, I'm good, I'm fine. I know that most people give an auto response. It's like your email, you said an auto response, and that same message goes to everybody, no matter what they've inquired about. And much later, when you get time, if you get time, you look at the email and go like, oh, they actually needed this. Let me send it to them. So much later, if you're feeling comfortable, if you get the time, you're like, oh, they actually wanted to, and yeah, this is actually how I felt. How often do we do that? We're just on autopilot mode. Or just, yeah, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm okay. Now, some of it happens because we're waiting for that validation. Please, let's break that cycle now with our kids. It's okay, it's a learning process. All of us are going to feel different because you're dealing with your emotions also when you're dealing with theirs. You're going to be tired, you're going to be angry, you're going to feel frustrated, you're going to feel all those things. That's okay. Why are we discussing the emotion wheel is just because we know the basic emotions. And when you talk about something in basic ingredient terms, it's easier to understand. But these emotions, because we ignore them from time to time, or because we've never taken the time to see what they're actually, or what am I feeling in a moment, they've taken a complex form. And that form is something we're going to see in that emotion wheel. So you see a few of the base emotions. Love. So love is an emotion. All of us know why we should feel it, how we feel. Oh, love makes me feel great. I'll share the picture with you all in the group also, so don't worry about it, okay? It's just, or if you Google it, you'll find it because it's a generic emotion we picked up from the internet, okay? So love, everyone knows, oh, love is great. When you have feel love, then, it's amazing. I want to feel that way, etc. You have joy or happiness, right? and we're all striving to be happy. But like I said, acknowledge every emotion, because if one emotion is good and one is bad, even if when you tell kids you're a good kid, bad, after a certain amount of time, they don't even listen to what is said before that. They're like, no, but I'm also good. Why should they have to struggle to like achieve that? It's okay, like you to understand that okay, people have both sorts of behaviors. That whole movie Inside Out, Inside Out is the name of the movie, Para. I'll put it on the chat as well. It's about how happiness feels like she's playing the most important role, and it's so important for her to constantly to never be touched by sadness, because I'll just dim the whole mood of the person. They show inside the brain of this little girl and the different emotions and how they're juggling, how that affects memory, etc. And she's avoiding sadness at all costs, only to realize that when you don't have the emotion of sadness, when you've never felt it, you do not realize how important happiness is. You do not get to feel a lot of the moments that are there. Okay, there is fear. Fear, as we discussed in our earlier session, fear is something that is designed as an emotion to alert you to a potential danger. It lets you know that you're in a situation of danger. It gives your, not just your mind, but even your body, the additional adrenaline rush that might be required for you to be able to encounter that situation of danger and come out successful. So you will see that, generally now, for instance, a person is on a wheelchair even, but now they're, suddenly caught up in the middle of a fire. There's a fire in the house. It's that emotion of fear which kicks in, and that person that could not even walk can now run out of that fire. It changes their body physiology to help them do that. It's essential. It shouldn't be under or overused, of course. Anger is what helps you stand up for what really matters. Sadness, we've discussed all of these before, so I'm going to go quickly through it. Sadness helps you realize what truly matters, how you truly feel, to value things more. Surprise. Surprise allows us to, just have that element of, oh, excitement, what happened, how it happened. To look forward, keep our curiosity going also. Now, these are the base emotions, but what happens is a lot of times, now this is the base wheel that is there. This wheel, if it keeps going, the nature of a wheel is that today, if it's at one point, you see a car, the wheel keeps spinning round and round. The wheels of the bus go round and round, right? So it's going to go round and round. So I might be feeling one emotion just now, but if I just allow it to keep going its cyclical way, that will pass and I'll feel another emotion, I'll feel something else. And it's a very normal way of processing an emotion. Where is the clincher though? When I'm not allowing an emotion to do what it's supposed to do, if I'm holding back a part of the wheel, if I'm not cleaning a part of the wheel, if I'm letting dust constantly accumulate on a part of the wheel, for example, I'm feeling sad, but I just don't want to feel sad. So I keep wanting for the wheel to just reach the next emotion. I keep cluttering this part. I keep cluttering this part till it's going to build up to something bigger. You will see, even with children, before they throw a tantrum, before they behave a certain way, and before that becomes learned behavior, where does a child who is born pure, like, without any sort of bias, anything, realize that, oh, to get attention, I should cry? We say, Arey, usko attention. So they're just crying for attention. Or they're doing this to get this. Where do you think that math sat? That math sat after lots of times of observing it, seeing it, experiencing it. So you will see, they will first go like, they'll just come to you. Like you might be in the middle of an important conversation and they'll keep nudging you and go like, mama, mama, mama. Like they might want, like, I'm not saying that anyone's right or wrong. You might be in the middle of something extremely important and they might want to show you how they pooped. Okay. But to them, it's really important. So they're going to keep calling you, keep calling you, keep calling you. Now, when that part is just not satisfied, that is when that emotion, they've come to you with a lot of joy. They want to show you something they've made, for instance. They're feeling very loved. They want to show you that. They want to experience love. And now that keeps building, and you're not responding. And now that moves to anger. Now that anger is something, they're saying, and like, why can't you come back? And you're like, don't you understand? Wait for 5 minutes. As that emotion builds up, it goes to irritability. As it moves from irritability, now they're really annoyed. Now they want to shout. Now they want to throw things. Now they want to throw a tantrum. Same happens for us also. So as these emotions build, so once you look at this part of the wheel, for example, anger, rage, exasperation, irritability, envy, disgust, they're all actually spin-offs from anger. Hate, hostility, agitation, frustration. Anytime that you're holding on to resentment, you're very aggravated. You're aggravated very easily. You get annoyed very easily. They're all spin-offs from anger. Why am I showing you this wheel is so many times we feel a lot of the things, depending on how well we've or how badly we've been processing our emotions, we feel a lot of the things that are in this external circle of the wheel. And because it's a much more complicated form of something, it's like if I give you a raw ingredient, and now if I've cooked it into a really fancy dish, you don't know what you're eating. You know that it tastes good or it tastes bad, but you have no idea what you're putting in your mouth because it's taken a different form. When we have this wheel a lot of times, now what happens in that moment, I have no idea what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling, why what I'm feeling is so complicated. It's a much more complex form. But if I look at this wheel, a lot of times I might be able to place my emotion a lot more easily. My emotion or another person's emotion. If they are feeling, for example, very, very isolated, they're feeling very lonely. If that is what someone that's in your circle is talking about, that nobody understands me, I always feel lonely, nobody is there for me, nobody's there for me. You might have a partner saying that. If you don't have the time to break it down, this might actually give you a great guidance. Isolation comes from feeling neglected, which comes from sadness. Where is it that they're really feeling sad? Where is it that they've really not processed how they felt sad about something? And if you are sitting with yourself and you just go back to the simple base emotion that it goes to, who would have thought jealousy comes from anger? You see, most people that are jealous, the base emotion goes to being really angry at themselves. I wish I did this. I didn't do this. I didn't do that earlier. If we allow ourselves to understand the base emotion that anything comes from, it's a much simpler form of that emotion and it's a lot easier to resolve. So, for example, let's pick one. I'm feeling anxious and worried all the time. That comes from a certain nervousness, insecurity, which comes from fear. If I sit down with myself and go like, okay, what am I scared of? What will happen? What is the worst that could happen? What is my biggest fear here? And we allow ourselves to just go down that line a little bit, we might realize what we're actually scared of. And then I can deal with the root issue rather than dealing with the spin-off. Once I deal with the root issue, it's just a lot quicker, a lot easier. Right? If I'm feeling really regretful most of the time, what am I sad about? What point did I feel rejected? What point did I feel like I was ashamed in that situation? And the minute I draw that back, I know that if once I deal with that sadness, the emotions that have come off it will also very beautifully resolve. So it helps us to understand a lot easier as to what our emotions are, and then use the tools that you have at your disposal to be able to resolve that emotion, to be able to release that emotion, to be able to reach a point where you're comfortable with yourself. But all of it, like I said, begins with acknowledging that emotion. You're feeling an emotion, really, use tools that I use with toddlers. I know I feel really angry just now, and it's okay. What happens when people want to meditate and they're like, oh my God, I really want to meditate. I'm never able to meditate. Why is that? The biggest fear is like, oh my God, everyone is doing it. I can't even meditate. I can't even do something so simple. You have no idea how many people would come and, like meditation or something which is supposed to help people feel calmer, better. It gives anxiety to people. Okay, so anytime we're doing a meditation, I don't even start with let's do a meditation. I just start. Because it gives anxiety to so many people because an unknown people like, I can't even do this. So like, I can't even meditate. I can't even do this. Everyone can do that. And like, what? I can't even do this. But that's why we moved to the newer way, which is mindfulness. Why can't you do it? I have so many thoughts. Okay. Till you're going to gatekeep those thoughts and go like they can't enter, it's going to feel like you're stopping a flood and you're a little dam that's there. You just go like, okay, I got this thought, it's come and now it's going. I think they'll come, they'll go also as easily. Allow it to come, acknowledge it, and allow it to leave. That way, you're taking away any power you've given to that situation. That whole power struggle completely just disappears at that point. Okay, so I don't know who SS is, but they've asked. So we say, I am feeling angry, not I am angry. Okay, who is SS? Do you want to come on here? Can't find them. So it's a if you do want to come on here, then just put your camera on so I don't know when I'll be able to speak to you. Till then, I'll address it in a regular fashion. So it is about if you're feeling angry, instead of going like, how could I feel angry? Why am I feeling angry? I shouldn't even feel angry. Is this situation something that needs to make me angry? Instead of breaking it down and analyzing all those 100 aspects about whether it's okay to feel angry, is it justified that I'm feeling angry, how angry should I feel? Have you noticed when you feel angry, you think about all these things? How angry should I really be feeling? Am I feeling angry at this? What you do is you feel anger, and that's this much. Now you add all these aspects to it, and now it's become this much. And that anger is completely lost. Have you ever cooked food and you found that simple banate na tastes good? Now, sometimes we just overcomplicate it, right? We put all the spices in it. Like maybe I'll put little of this and this and this and this and this, and you can't taste the original thing anymore. It's too overpowered. So when you're feeling angry, instead of going like, how can I feel this? How much am I feeling? Why am I feeling? Where did it come? What happened? This, that. For just 2 minutes, go like, okay, I feel really angry. And I choose to feel better. I choose to feel calm. Know how you want to feel, move towards that. Let that emotion come, acknowledge it, and let it go. When it's as simple as that, the wheel can keep moving. You're not clogging it with all the other unnecessary things. Right? And then that wheel can keep moving. That emotion can come, that emotion can go, the next emotion can come. And when that processing is in a very healthy manner, there's never a fear. How, what, why? We've not made it into this demon which is big. You realize that kids are never born with fears. In fact, we say kids are really divine, so they can actually notice energies around them. They can notice energies that we might not be able to see. When we do the workshops for kids, we actually say that they can see angels, fairies around. We go in meditation and connect to our angels. They can just simply see those energies because they're still connected to the divine within them. But now, generally, what happens? So in the Rainbow Children, and on camera, we can actually capture those energies and see them. Right? We say angels, fairies are around you. You can capture those energies and see them. In the Rainbow Children Energy class, we capture it. In the Rainbow Children class, we teach kids about the different sort of energies that are there, the energies that are there in the universe that help us, the energies that are not meant to be here and need to go back to the light. All of those things. Now, one thing we realized at that point was kids just see energies, they can feel energies. They don't have any bias towards these energies. That's, I mean, they're walking around. Anyone who's divine, like, when an elderly person who's meditated for years goes like, मुझे दिख रहा है आपकी aura में ये है, मुझे ये दिख रहा है, then we, acknowledge it as something that's coming. But when a kid goes like, yeah, I saw this angel around here, I saw this energy here. You know what happens? They feel nothing about it. When a kid falls down, they might get hurt. Most times they just fall down 100 times a day. But they feel nothing about it. They come from a neutral zone, right? How do they learn to feel something about it? They feed off our emotions. So when a kid falls down, for example, there'll be two types of parents that are there. There'll be parents that will, "Arey, arey, what happened? What happened? Kya ho gaya? Oh my God, are you okay?" Now that kid automatically registers that something big happened, right? And every time they fall, it's like this big thing that has happened. So anytime anything happens, they'll start crying hysterically, or they'll wait for a reaction because they feel like something big has happened. They're not doing it to manipulate you, but that's just how they believe something is. Okay, that anytime, but it's a big thing. And then you'll see a lot of kids that fall down, next minute they're running and they're going about their day. So many have you seen kids fall down and like, of course you've taught them, if you're not fine, you come and tell us. Any human being that is in pain will come and tell you. Specifically if they cannot take it, if they cannot tolerate it. Have you seen, even if you're in a lot of pain and you said, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to go to anyone. If that exceeds your threshold, you will go like, okay, but listen, give me this medicine. Can you do this? I cannot move. So now there are a lot of parents that the kid will fall and people are about to react and they'll say, it's okay. Calm down. They'll tell their kid, oh, you're okay, you're strong. Wow, let's go. So that kid just has that thing registered in their mind. I'm fallen. It's a normal part of something that happens. Get up and get going. And when they hurt, they'll come and tell you, yeah, but it hurts. So conditioning for babies begins with how we respond to a situation. A lot of our fears also begin from that point. So that kid sees energies, they're neutral. That's just something that's happening. They're just sharing that with you. Right? And you go like, oh, there's nothing like ghosts. There's nothing like ghosts. You don't need to be scared of the dark. There's nothing here. Where do you think this whole fear of dark, fear of ghosts, fear that something is there, fear of monsters under my bed, all of that comes from there? They didn't feel anything. They just were, it's like they were reporting. They're like, hi, this is here. That's all they were doing. And then all the, parents, "Arey, ye ho jayega, to wo ho jayega, this happens." That came on there and that's what they said. And now this kid is scared of the dark. So fear, anger, all of these things are learned emotions, and all of these we learn from the environment and how we observe. We learn what to do with the emotion, we learn how to respond to that emotion, we learn the nature of that emotion. It's a good emotion, it's a bad emotion. So we've been taught to stay away from anger, to stay away from fear. But, and of course, it's not something you want to live with repetitively, but it's not something you need to run away from either. So till my mind is running away from feeling a certain emotion, why are you feeling sad? So I've told you again and again, this is a wrong feeling. You cannot feel it. I'm not giving you anything till you stop crying. So the mind does everything in its power to run away from that emotion. And which is why the mind clouds it with all this judgment, which is why the mind thinks it's a big deal that it happened. But if you even teach any kid that you enter, okay, I get that you're feeling angry. All of us feel angry. But anger is not going to help because nobody understands what you're saying when you're angry. I find myself saying this to my, like, I mean, I get that you're angry. I get that you're feeling a big emotion because all of us get overwhelmed at times, right? I got angry yesterday about this. But when we're angry, nobody understands what we want to say because we're shouting. Or when we're only crying and not saying what the problem is, it's difficult for someone to help me because they don't understand what the problem is. So I get that you feel this, and when I'm here, but whenever have allowed this emotion to pass, we can talk about it and find a solution. Like, oh, okay. You spill something and you have a reaction, and kids are like, oh my god, something big happened. They're like, okay, this has spilled, now clean it up. They realize, okay, if you spill something, you're supposed to clean it up. They're not supposed to ask someone else to clean it up. You're supposed to clean it up. Okay, you made a mistake, but now we've got to correct it once we know that we made a mistake. They're like, oh, okay. It's as simple. And it's never too late for us to understand that wheel and shift those emotions. Understand that emotion, acknowledge it, don't give it a big pedestal. Just let it come and let it go. Okay? As simple as that. I saw that whoever SS was, she had put her screen on, but she, I think, got her answer, which is why then she had a little thumbs up over there. Does anyone else have any questions about the Wheel of Emotions? Anything that they want to say? Anything that they want to ask? No? Okay. All right. So I will be doing some downloads for everyone for the Wheel of Emotions for how we feel. First, to just acknowledge our emotions, know what they are. It's like a flow of water. Let it come, let it go. Okay, before that, because I want to wrap up with downloads, I'm going to quickly draw up. Let me see if I have the image for the workshop that is happening, and anyone having any questions that might be there. Because honestly, I don't know why more of you haven't taken the opportunity to do it, because it is going to be a fabulous one that's there. So on this Sunday, we are doing the Guilt to Growth workshop. This one is particularly designed for moms. Anyone that wants to be a mom, is pregnant, is a mom, has been a mom for a long time, is a grandmom or great grandmom as well. Guilt is something that we have generationally carried for so, so long, guys. We're going to be talking about all the different aspects of that guilt. Where does mom guilt even come from? How it manifests in different forms in our life? How, in different stages, we feel that guilt in a different manner. This is something I've spoken to every mom, and every mom goes like, yeah, yeah, I feel it. Why is it when the child falls ill, it's like, oh my God, did I give them something wrong? Did I not do this? Did I do this? Did I do that? If the child throws a tantrum, it's about you feeling guilty. If you're going out, it's about you feeling guilty. If it's about you staying at home all the time, it's about you feeling guilty. So where has this identifying and conquering the source of mother's guilt? Where has this guilt started from? We're going to speak about the genetics of how this has started, what place it has taken now, and the different forms it takes through different phases of motherhood. Why did I say even somebody who wants to become a mom? Because this title and this mom guilt is something that we've grown to such an extent that we really don't know what came first, whether you become a mom first or you feel the mom guilt first. So many people are having fertility issues, and they're happening because of a guilt that they're carrying, that they're not even aware of. It's not just about, like, they'll say physically everything is okay, but I don't know why this is not happening. So it is something that can be affecting preconception, conception, through pregnancy, how that guilt is affecting your child, your bond with the child. For new moms, how that sense of identity, they're anyway going through something big. How that sense of identity gets lost with all the advice and with all the guilt that they're carrying, and that manifests into postpartum depression, that manifests into them not, like, just questioning their mother's intuition. The time that they have really to, like, if we say foundational years are important for a child, they're important for a mother too. A mother is also born when the child is born. You can't prepare for the job because every child is different. So that stage, understanding that as you're into growing moms, people come like, oh, my child is not listening to me. I know that that was an issue. The reason we came up with the moms first is so many of you had come and said, like my child doesn't listen to me, or, I don't know how to get them to do their homework. I don't know how to get them to do this, or, wherein everything you've dedicated your life to growing those kids well, and then they still come and answer back to you. They're rude to you. Why that happens, what causes that behavior, what makes them think it's okay to do that. And when you're at that stage of being really matured where your kids don't need you anymore, they outgrow you, why is that leaving a void? We're going to understand that journey, and this whole growth through that journey, and understand where that pattern needs to stop, where it becomes a vicious cycle, how to shift it. And we're going to be sending a questionnaire today to everyone to fill any reasons they might have felt, whether they're joining or not joining the workshop. But for those that are joining the workshop, we're going to be taking all the reasons they might have ever felt guilty, and their names are not going to be taken through the workshop. We're going to be doing B releases on each of those reasons for feeling guilty, and we're going to wrap it up with a powerful meditation. We're going to discuss how to shift our behavior in our daily life so that we move from a guilt to growth mindset, because that's the mindset you're giving to the generations to come also. When you feel like, okay, this is something wherein I'm growing, when you're not constantly feeling like you're not doing enough, and you're not constantly driven by guilt and punishment, that's not the message that the generation after you takes either. So it's never too late to shift that. And only and only because this is for moms, and moms will find some reason to feel guilty no matter what. But I don't have time, but I have to do this for my child, but it's a Sunday, but I need to be there for them. This is the one module we've given the option that we will be doing it live. Even if people cannot attend it live, when they've registered, we're going to be taking their forms in, which means we will do the releases for all their reasons also. And for those that cannot attend it live, anytime, because it's for Mother's Day, anytime during May, they will get to, so any of the rest of the days, 27 to 31st, they can choose that I want to do it on this day, and we'll give them access for that time, for that day, to do that workshop. That day, they'll be able to see the recorded version. So it can still be as powerful. But please don't let it go, because we've put it at that price only to help moms get out of it. But if there's anyone that you know as well, this is the one like I've realized is the one most underserved crowd, but everyone is so into like, no, but I need to do this, but I have this which is more important. We're not giving the time for our emotions to bloom and for them to just get resolved. What are we passing on to the generations ahead of us? Any questions about the workshop? Any questions about anything else, guys? Please raise your hand if you have any. I'm happy to take them. Yes, Jason.
Actually, I just wrote the question on the chat.
So you've written, I feel extremely guilty after expressing anger, and this anger towards anybody. Okay, so if you feel guilty about it, either you can allow the guilt to take over, or you acknowledge the emotion. So, see, first, like I said, when I'm feeling extremely angry, anger doesn't always come out in the form of anger, also. If you see the wheel, it'll come out as frustration, it'll come out as despair, it'll come out, you'll see you're like you just start short circuiting when you're very angry. If it's normal anger, you will see that you get angry, you will most likely go and say sorry also. When it's built up, you don't know why you're getting so angry and so quickly. So what needs to happen is that, clear up needs to happen. So instead of, like I said, with guilt, we generally process it through punishment. But before you reach a point of guilt, if you allow yourself to address this emotion, going like, okay, what was I actually angry about? Was I even actually angry at this situation? You will and do it after that emotion has passed. When you feel it, go like, you know how to do this also, like, okay, or even like, you know how to do B also. Or I feel angry, or I feel you just go like, what am I actually feeling? You might realize I'm just feeling helpless. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling overworked. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling helpless. Anger is a base emotion, but it comes out of a lot of different situations. So sit with yourself when you get those 5 minutes and go like, how am I actually feeling? Was I actually angry at this person? So if I got angry at my son, did he do something that actually really made me angry? If he did, okay, then what do I want to do about it? Because you feeling guilty is not helping anybody, right? So what, like, okay, if you're feeling guilty because you feel like you overreacted. Generally, if you feel like they did something to make you angry, go like, okay, do I want to do something about it? Yeah, I think maybe I should tell them how to do. Most times we tell a person what not to do. Stop behaving like this. Stop being this way. And 80% of the times you're telling them what not to do, and that's aggravating them because they're like, like, what do you want me? What do you expect of me? You'll see your kids come and go like, what do you want me to do? I'm tired of this. What do you want from me? Because we never told them what we want them to do, or we're just telling them what we don't want them to do. And it can get frustrating. Even with kids, don't throw toys here, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And their mind wants to explore, but they're just like frustrated, they don't know what to do. They're in age, they want to fidget, they want to find out things. Let's do this, let's do that. Give them three options and they'll be good to go. So if you're angry and if you like, if you're feeling guilty, it means you feel like you shouldn't have gotten angry. So if it's angry, if I want to teach them, show them how to do something differently. However, now second point is okay, I got angry, but I'm feeling guilty because I overreacted or I did this. Okay, then go like, okay, so if I feel guilty about how was I actually feeling in that moment? And you'll realize, I was just so tired. I'd come back from a very hectic day. I
Feeling
told them
let down,
but they didn't get.
feeling let down by someone.
So feeling that down. So see, why am I feeling that down? Reflect to what emotion that brings within you. And then trace that emotion back. And work on that. Because we're working on something which is not the root cause, we're not getting a solution. Feeling let down also comes from shame. Shame comes from sorrow. Sorrow, where does that sorrow come from? What am I actually feeling sad? My base emotion is sadness. It's not anger. So what am I feeling sad about? And can I do anything to change that? And do that. Like I told, sometimes it comes out with exhaustion. Okay, so if I am overworked, why? Is it because I'm getting tired easily, or is it because I have a lot of work on my hands? If I am getting tired easily, then why am I getting so tired? Do I need to check my vitamin levels? Do I need to check? Do I need to, regulate my sleep cycle, whatever? And if it is happening because I am overworked, then do I need to delegate? Do I need to say that, listen, this is too much? Everyone needs to do something here. Just go to the root of it. And but in that moment, go like, okay, I feel angry. Do a B round. Or go like, I feel angry. Don't run away from it. Just all I'm. It's like those, like when you're just escaping the police. Don't escape the police. Just pause your car and deal with it so that you're not worried about the 2 hours that you're escaping the police. You're just like, like, what is the problem here? And you can deal with it. And when you will be, and you'll just because guilt is not helping you. Why is guilt? Because guilt, I mean, of all, it's not helping. You're punishing yourself, and you're punishing yourself over and over again till that feels like the normal thing to do. So just instead go like, if I'm feeling guilty, maybe I did do something wrong. When parents acknowledge that they can also make mistakes, that's where the biggest shift happens. Because they take off the expectation of having to do everything right. One of the biggest things we're going to do in the mom workshop is take off that super mom cape and just return it. No need to have it. Just be like normal. You have no idea how much normalcy is underrated. Normalcy is great. Like, yeah, like I'm human. I cannot do this. Till I'm a healer and I'm expected to, always have shining skin, always be a certain way, always be happy, always do this. I'm carrying that way. But I come on here and I'm very normal with you guys. I'm like sitting normally, normal look, normal everything. Imagine if I put myself to every time wearing lenses, every time being in my best form, and then I've put that pressure on myself. So I actually know that everyone that comes to me, they come to me because they're drawn by that normalcy. And they're like, okay, I don't have a big standard to fill or big shoes to fill also. I understand that I can be normal and just like deal with it. Find your strength and make that your superpower. And whatever the emotion you feel, and you're human, you will feel emotions, you will feel have hardships, you will go through difficult times. People come and they say, I did the graduate program, why am I still having a difficult time? I'm like, it didn't turn you into God. You're still gonna have difficult times because that's what you're here for in the human form, but you're going to know how to navigate it a lot better. So just do that. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Let's proceed to downloads. Okay.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Okay.
Richa,
Would you
can I ask a quick question?
yes, yes.
Yeah. Is the root cause for guilt and shame the same?
That's a very good question. I feel like guilt comes out of a lot of places. I'm going to answer it to the best of my knowledge. So I'm going to open up the emotion wheel also, but I feel like guilt comes from many, many different places. There's not a particular place that it comes from. This is a generic wheel that is there where we can look for where shame comes from and where guilt comes from. So guilty and shameful, if you see, they're all coming from sadness, you see. Guilt, shameful, sadness. Okay, so that is, I mean, and this is a wheel that's, scientifically researched, etc. But giving you my 2 cents on it, I feel like, we hold on to guilt from many, many different places. And she spoke about anger and it went down to sadness again. However, so many times I feel guilty because I was getting really angry at people. I lost a few of my relations. I feel guilty because I was too scared to take that step, and now I've not moved to where I want to, and I'm not able to provide my family the lifestyle I wanted to. We feel guilty for a lot of different reasons, and all we need to do, I feel like guilt, shame comes from a lot of sadness. I wish I could have, I should have, regrets. But I mean, emotion wheel shows that it all draws down to sadness. And if we see what am I sad about, but I feel like if we sit down and go like, okay, look, let me look at the emotions around it. Look at the wheel, let me look at the emotions around it. Which of these am I feeling? Or go to like, okay, but what am I feeling? Like, why am I feeling guilty? What did I do wrong? And then just trace it down to what I truly feel bad about and approach it from a what can I do about? Can I do something about it? We delve into why did I feel this? Why did this happen to me? Did I feel the correct thing? Did I feel it enough? Did I feel it too less? Like, and all those are questions that you require if you have to figure out what punishment to give someone. So your child does something, and if I have to figure out what punishment to give them, that's when the judge needs to know, na? How many people did they murder? When did they murder? Why did they murder? Did they murder for good reason or bad reason? It's because the judge is deciding a punishment of it. When we stop being judges of our lives and condoning everything into good or bad, because good or bad is also fifth plane. When we explain the planes of existence, we say it's fifth plane behavior, categorizing everything as good or bad. Sometimes something just is. It is what it is. So when I don't need to be the judge of my life or of anyone else's life, if you feel you're in a position where somebody and like, yeah, acha kiya, they didn't do this right. So I generally have a behavior where if it has nothing to do with me, 90% of the time I don't care. It is very shocking to a lot of people around me because they're like, she's just not bothered. I'm like, but it has nothing to do with me. Somebody in the market did something to someone else. And I just go with the thing that they understand. If, for instance, if they're very religious, I'll be like, am I not trying karma? Just like, gossiping about them, talking about them, judging them. I can't understand my own behavior. I'm going to sit and be the judge of someone else. It's just like, if I only use that resource for myself. So when we stop being judges of anyone else's or even our own behavior and just go like, okay, I feel this. And do I want to feel this? Yes or no? Simple. Simple questions. Keep it very simple. I want to feel this, great, then feel it. Don't want to feel it. That's when I go like, what can I do to change this? If I'm feeling really guilty about having shouted at someone, if I'm feeling really guilty for having eaten too many desserts, if I'm feeling really guilty for not having exercised, I could keep feeling guilty. And that feeling of every feeling we feel, guys, has a physiological reaction in our body. We don't realize it, but it does. When you're constantly living in worry and anxiety, your immunity will get lower because you're deploying resources that were meant for emergencies and everyday use. When you're constantly living in fear or anxiety, it will lower your immunity. You will, your heart will be pacing, it will affect your overall health. Why is it that when you're scared of something, somebody coming, your body starts sweating, you suddenly start feeling anxious? Your body has physiological reactions to every emotion. And it's good that it does. The day we stop having them, we've reached that frozen state of numbness. And that's not where we want to get. That's when we are not feeling anything. It's healthy to feel something in every emotion. So if I'm feeling something, what can I do about it? So if I'm feeling guilty that I ate too many desserts, what can I do about it now? Instead of me, like every time I feel it and I punish myself again, what can I do about it now? Okay, I'm gonna have some warm water. Okay, I'm gonna go walk for like those 10 minutes. Instead of overthinking it, let me just do what I want to do. If I feel really guilty of at having shout, what can I do about it now? I can say sorry and mean it, and you'd be amazed at the reaction that has sometimes when we don't let our ego get in the way and just go and say, I'm really sorry, I was really tired, or I was really just upset about something else. Even if you've never done it before, most people can't do it because they've never done it before. They've never said sorry before. They've never said thank you before. They've never expressed gratitude before. I'd done a 21-day gratitude challenge, and one day I'd given them different exercises. I'm like, go express gratitude to someone in your family one day. Go express gratitude to an outside person. Like, say thank you to the sweeper, say thank you to the person who's serving you food. Different people struggled with different areas of doing that. Because they'll think I'm mad. They'll think, something is wrong with me. Why am I doing this? I've never done this. I'm like, do it now. What do you have to lose? They'll be surprised, but they're going to like it. Nobody, everyone enjoys being spoken to well. They might be surprised. They might be like, this is all temporary. This is, but you know why you're doing something, so just do it. But people had such a difficult time saying thank you. They're like, I don't know, like I couldn't do it. I'm like, just say thank you to your, helper, house help, that they've done the bed sheet for you. And they looked at me like I was going crazy that day because they like, you've never done it. If anything, you criticize how it's not done properly, right? So now you're like, thank you for doing this. And they like, but it will make them smile. So just if I am feeling guilty about something, one is where it's coming. If it's happening again and again, I need to see where it's coming from. It's important. Why is it that guilt to growth? Why is it the mom guilt that we want to see where it's coming from? Why are we talking about it? Because it happens again and again. It's happening, it's not based on the situation. Situational guilt is temporary. Situational guilt has come for a reason, and you can just resolve it with what can I do about it now. But those permanent areas of guilt that are there, no, those have deeper roots. So we need to see where it comes from and resolve it from there so that that root is taken care of and it doesn't keep manifesting in different. Because there's no reason somebody who's not even a mom should feel guilty. There's no reason that even when you're doing everything, you should feel guilty and be spoken to so rudely. We invite that behavior because of that guilt that we feel. And that's a punishment from them. So, like, oh, what if my kid doesn't do so? What if my kid doesn't do so? Why doesn't the other parent or like other person in the family who, might not be doing anything get that behavior? Because they don't have that conditioning only. They don't have that X to Y connection. So if it's a more seated guilt, work on it. See more seated shame, work on the why, and then look at what next. And if it's situational, look at the what next. Okay, does that answer? Okay, great. Okay, anyone else? You can just put the raise hand thing, so I'll know also. Some of your cameras are on, some are off. Okay. So I am moving to the downloads. All right. So, would you all like to know the creator of all that is his definition and perspective of normalcy? To know what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible for me to know and understand, to acknowledge that all that I feel is normal, that I allow myself to be normal without the need in me to carry unnecessary crowns or labels, that I know what it feels like to be able to grow in who I am and to be able to embrace and accept all of who I am, to know and understand the creator of all that is his definition and perspective of growth and of emotions, that I know what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible for me to know that the universe has my back and to flow with the flow of the universe, to know and understand the creator of all that is his definition and perspective of flow, and knowing what it feels like to flow with the flow of the universe, to understand the beauty of the universe, to understand the beauty of how life moves on, of how emotions evolve, of how we keep growing, and of how change happens organically, and to embrace the nature of the universe, to embrace the nature of all that's been gifted to us, and to allow myself to accept the good and the bad within me, to accept the various emotions I feel, as I understand and know that each one of them is important. And as I do so, that I know what it feels like to embrace and understand what my true strengths are and allow for those to shine forward. That I know what it feels like to accept every moment for what it is, to accept every person for who they are, and to feel the peace of the same, to allow myself to grow as I reach this point of acceptance, as I choose to see how to make myself better in every situation, as I choose to embrace my highest potential and live my life with my highest potential. I know what it feels like, how to, when to, and that it is safe and possible for me to make this growth, for me to grow forward in my life with acceptance, with understanding my emotions, with acknowledgement of all my emotions, and with allowing myself to be in the flow of the universe, to have each of these downloads into every cell, atom, molecule of your body, every area of your life, at all four levels of your belief systems, and in any and every language ever known or understood by you, for your highest and best and in your highest and best manner. Simply affirm yes to receive the downloads. And as you affirm yes, just visualize a beautiful golden waterfall of all of these feelings entering your space through your head, through your crown chakra, and beautifully balancing, embracing, accepting your emotions. Distinctly feel. It's almost like waking up all those emotions that were made dormant in a balanced manner, in a healthy manner, of course. Allowing yourself to feel things at the pace that you're ready for. But even better than that, acceptance and allowing the creative guidance, the universal forces, the universal guidance of the creator, of your angels, to come through as you navigate life, as you navigate these emotions. Feeling connected, feeling charged, feeling blessed, and feeling ready. Loving and accepting yourself wholly and completely. Whenever you feel ready, simply come back to this room with a big broad smile and open your eyes. Okay. So wishing all of you a very, very beautiful week ahead. I'll see a lot of you on Sunday. And I just wish for each one of you to allow your emotions to come through. Let them come, let them go. And from Team Cesta, have a very, very beautiful weekend. Thank you, everyone.